Hey folks, Adam Brian Dada here with the low reward video series. Here's a great one of my opening bits when I talk to small groups about lower reward living, producerism, and yellow pill theory is if it's advertised, it's high reward. And a lot of people will say, well, duh, of course, if something's advertised, naturally it's consumer minded and it's high reward. But then, as you start thinking it through, you start asking yourself, wait a minute, is everything that's advertised higher reward? When I say if it's advertised, it's higher reward, I mean it. Because ads are designed in order to have you think about what? One outcome. Usually happiness. I'll give you an example. You have an advertisement from my childhood that's still stuck in my head of a really hot girl doing some ninja skills with Doritos. Now, Doritos naturally are high reward. Every time you try one, your brain is screaming, wow, this is amazing. One of the things that comes with advertising, though, that people will say, well, this isn't high reward, is what about stock investment? You know, maybe Schwab runs some ads, or one of the other brokerage houses, Stash or Acorns runs ads. And you're like, that's not a high reward. We're investing money for our future. Except it is high reward. And they're trying to get you to be a customer without thinking things through, because they want you to have one ultimate goal, which is wealth. Be wealthy. Anyone who's been following me long enough knows that while I tell poor people to become wealthier, I tell rich people to focus more on quality of life than on becoming richer. I am not rich. Maybe I'm spending some time on boats a lot, but my boats are cheap. I bought sailboats for $10,000. The boat I'm on now is $4,000, not very expensive. And you could buy it and go out riding it today. So I'm not rich because I was that way. And when I was rich, all that it allowed me to do was experience more higher and higher reward lifestyles and behaviors. And it didn't actually make me contented. It didn't make me comfortable. It just made me happy. And happy is the high reward polar opposite of depressed. They both are part of the same part of that reward triangle. What about education? You see that a lot when you're young, back to school. You're going to learn stuff so you can become the president, or you're going to learn stuff so you can become a doctor, right? But that's not why we do those things. We do those things because, again, we want to be rich. We want to have money so we can buy more consumer goods. We want to become a doctor so that we can have a bigger Ferrari. We want to become the president of the United States so we can push the button and blow people up. It's all high reward. Even though investing in education sounds like it's low reward, in reality, we're getting to the point where the reason we want those things is because we want to acquire more consumer highs. When you watch ads of any kind, you do become numbed to it, which makes you easier to advertise that product to in the future. None of you are capable of ignoring ads. One of the worst things that I've ever found in pushing ads out of my life was ad block. A lot of people love ad block. They brag about it. I run ad block on my phone and it keeps all the advertisements away, except it doesn't. Ad block actually probably makes advertising more powerful in the brain, because you're still putting yourself into the exposure of whatever media product you're consuming. And when few ads do come out, whether it's product placement or whatever, you're actually more ripe to want that one outcome that the ad is promoting to you. So don't think that just because you're blocking some ads that you're going to be more powerful over go that way. More powerful over the few ads that you see. Not true. What actually will end up happening is you become actually weaker to the fewer ads that you see, because you're still consuming the media that happens to be trying to show you ads that are being blocked by whatever nonsense application that you're using. If it's being advertised, it is a high reward behavior. If your friends are pushing it, be careful, because they are probably looking to get you hooked as well. for whatever reason. Maybe it's to make an affiliate percentage. Maybe it's because they want to be right a few years down the line and say, I told you so, which again is a high reward consumer behavior as well. When we want to start dieting, losing weight or building some muscle or just being healthier in general, we'll follow these health gurus who look amazing. They look unbelievably fit and they're in beautiful sunny beaches and they have pretty girls with them working out. Everything they have to promote to you is high reward. Everything. The supplements, the exercises, the gear that they're selling, every single item that they are trying to promote to you to make you healthier, to make you look sexier, to have you get better looking girlfriends, to have you be stronger and faster. 100% of what those gurus are marketing is higher reward. Even if you lost weight, even if you got stronger, even if you lived longer. The problem with what they're advertising to you is that it's making your brain accustomed and weaker to further indoctrination. And again, why is that? Again, the reason why is because advertisements market one outcome. It's one outcome. What's the outcome that they're trying to market? The best. So how do we fix that? Lower reward living. One of the tenets of lower reward living is have many outcomes, many contingencies, many plans for possibilities of what could happen if we perform this behavior or buy this product. Maybe you're going to join that gym. What are the possible outcomes of joining the gym? The big one that people think about is, well, I'm going to get hotter or I'm going to lose weight. But that's not the outcome that's most likely to happen. How many people have joined the gym, lost weight, and kept the weight off? High reward gym behavior. I'm going to go on the diet. I'm going to start doing keto, and I'm going to lose weight. How many people kept that weight off? How many of your friends brag about, oh, look, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to get hot? Write them down. Write them down in your peer tracking journal, pen and paper. Follow it up in a year or two. How many of those people are still going to the gym? How many people are still doing the diet? It's high reward behavior that's bragged about by high reward individuals. How many of your friends invested in Acorns or Robinhood or Stash Invest or whatever and don't talk about it anymore? Well, ask them. How much have you invested? Did you stick to it? It's high reward behavior. When an investment platform captures 2 million customers that leave $36 in their account, and that account is taking $1 a month away because they're not using it anymore, that platform made $36 million in a few years, having to probably only market $500,000, $1 million worth of advertising. Very easy to acquire people. Same thing with those cooking boxes. How many people get those meals in a box in the mail and use them a couple of times and love them, and then next thing you know, they're getting stuff in the mail that they're not cooking anymore because they're going out and eating junk food. They're eating junk food, so the meals are getting thrown out or staying in the freezer, taking up space, and in a year from now, they're going to get thrown out also. Same thing. Being advertised to something healthy, something good for you is still a high reward behavior. So we need to think about what are the many outcomes that we can have by going to the gym? What are the many outcomes we can have by investing in stocks? What are the many outcomes we can have by starting a new diet? What are the many outcomes we can have by getting to bed earlier by taking this supplement? There's not just one outcome we're looking for. If you're only looking for one outcome, you're going to be disappointed. And what happens when consumers are disappointed? They spend more money needlessly. They jump on Netflix distractions needlessly. They jump to porn needlessly. If you don't have many outcomes, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to jump ship to some kind of mindless distraction, just like the neuroengineers had planned. In everything that's advertised to you, the outcome that they want you to aim for, they want you to spend money to get to, is the high reward outcome. But think about what the lower reward outcomes are. Are you joining the gym maybe to meet men of value? Is that a possibility? It is for me. I've met men of value at the gym, and I hate the gym. I won't go anymore. Are you going to the gym to meet hot chicks? Women always say I hate it when guys bother me at the club, at the health club, but they never talk about the cute, interesting guys that they wink at the health club, wishing that guy had come up and talked to them. Maybe that's an outcome you could go for. Are you starting the diet to meet more friends that you can network with together and hold accountable? How about that one? Are you buying film gear because you want to be a famous award-winning director, or do you want to do it to increase your network, potentially learn some profit-making skills, maybe get more customers in markets that you never would have thought to aim your new skills at? You've got to think about different outcomes in everything. If you want to have a lower reward experience or lifestyle, every single thing that's advertised to you, turn it around and think to yourself, what are the other possibilities? What are the contingencies? What are the failure possibilities? What kind of things could happen to you in failure of acquiring this object or buying this license or subscription? What are the failure potentials? Think about those so you're not as depressed if you do fail and give up on it. When are you going to get rid of it? Have you thought about that? I'm going to buy this new video game system because I love video games. It's going to make me all happy. Well, of course, that's high reward. But what about, like, maybe I'll do it so I can bond with my kids, or, you know, hang out with the neighbors, or whatever the case may be there. That's a high reward item that maybe potentially has some kind of an opportunity to be lower reward. But what about the good stuff that you buy? What about buying gym equipment? What are the possible negative outcomes there? One of the negative outcomes is you don't use it anymore and it takes some space. Go look in your garage, go look in your basement, go look in your attic, go look in your storage facilities. How much stuff do you have in there that you've been meaning to get rid of? Well, make that a piece of the purchasing activity. I'm gonna buy these dumbbells because I wanna get hotter. But if I don't get hotter by July of next year, I'm gonna sell them. Put it in your phone, put it in your calendar, and say, remind me on this date in July of next year that I'm gonna sell the dumbbells that I bought. And do that for every single item that you purchase. Everything you buy that has value to you, put a reminder in when you're gonna sell it if you're not using it anymore. And force yourself to have that contingency. That's a contingency. When you have contingencies and you patiently plan for them in the future, whichever ones come up, that's the lower reward option. That's the way you win. Even with what's obvious to many of us after pondering this conversation starter, that everything advertised to us is higher reward because it only has one outcome. So plan all the outcomes. Whatever the case may be, plan for possibilities, plan for contingencies, and whichever one comes up out of your many plans, know that you planned for it, you added patience to your life, you had goals, not just one. And when you get there, even if it's the failure option, it was still a planned failure. It's a soft landing. It's not gonna make you depressed and make you jump immediately to think about Hot Doritos, Action Girl, or whatever porn you wanna move to, or whatever video games you play when you're angry at yourself, or however you deal with failure. When the low reward options are planned, including the negative ones, the turnout is much calmer, much more comforting, much more contented. And we get to this point because we think about these things. Even when we're watching ads on TV, even when we're experiencing ads on Instagram, we think, now, I'm gonna think about this amazing ad that's trying to sell me something that I don't want or need, but it sounds exciting, so we can plan for these negative possibilities and outcomes. And when we have these negative possibilities and outcomes, we don't end by being depressed because we are failures. Instead, we succeeded because we reached one of our planned goals. And that's still a success, even if everybody else would say it isn't. I'm happy to admit to my friends who ask me, are you still doing this thing that you were talking about 5 years ago? And I say, no, I'm not, but I had planned for the possibility of failure. And it didn't work for me, so I sold whatever it was that I bought to try it out. It didn't work, I sold it at a loss, but it's not occupying my garage or my attic or my storage facility anymore. It's out of my life. I'm Adam Brian Dada, and this is the Low Reward video series.